Hey guys, this is National Master Kem Yang back at it with another video about part 2, continuing the game I played against 23 dragons. So, as we saw in the previous video, we've arrived at this position, right? We were analyzing this sort of variation, whether opening this sort of file was worth it for me or more dangerous for me. So, after takes, bishop takes, right? Now, rook d1, I don't know, maybe bishop a3, try to get the rook over, but to me it felt like maybe I could allow some counterplay here. So I thought, let's stay away from that. So I went with my plan instead. I just went for rook h6. What is my plan? Rook h8. And maybe sacrifice here. a5 happened. Perfect move, by the way. Still keeping queen a6 open, keeping taking open, and I thought, you know what, let's close it down. But this is a mistake, and I would have definitely taken a chance here, but this is the right move. And the reason this is the right move is because in the game I was thinking, I'm going to take with the knight, probably, because if I take with the queen, there's bishop e3. So I have to take with the knight. And then there are kind of thoughts. Does white proceed with bishop e3? Does white proceed with knight d4 and knight b5? Because here I thought knight d4, and then what? Rook h8. I thought, okay, I'm maybe okay, right? I'm putting enough pressure to stop white from worrying about attacking me. And then I thought bishop e3. Well, I thought that's certainly too slow. I could probably maybe just take even. I don't know, after takes, taking the knight, taking f3, knight takes f3, queen takes b6. I was like, you know what? I don't think white has any attack, so I'm safe here. But the computer points out a very good move. Queen to a2. And I saw it in the game, but I thought I should be okay there. I thought king b8, right, protecting the pawn, and then I didn't see much follow-up. And here I thought, no, I'm definitely fine, right? I remember in my mind I stopped calculating here. The reason being that I thought I was fine. However, bishop e3, and after rook h8, let's say, according to the computer, let's say bishop d4, protecting this pawn. Well, the problem is here for me is that I have no attack because it's sort of protected, right? It's a done fortress. I mean, white has the time to play king g2, rook h1, I don't know, maybe just like knight d2, bring the other knight in, but white has plenty of time. Meanwhile, I'm not even sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll shuffle around my bishop, but it's not going to do much because white's position here is so solid. I don't have an attack on this side. As long as white triples up on the A file, well, that's going to be really bad for me. So I guess this was a little bit of a misjudgment because I didn't see queen a2. So in this case, this is a really hard move to see. What the computer says, b5. Oh, I didn't know that because after queen takes b5, I really never considered it. I mean, knight d takes e5? Wow. Okay, maybe this is okay, but I completely didn't consider it. I thought this was too dangerous. So, after b4, I thought c4, maybe even knight d4, right? Maybe even a5, but I didn't know. This was already a very double-edged position. I played rook h6, a5, and reiterating my mistake here. So our opponent played bishop e3, and from the last time that I thought, okay, here I thought is taking fine, because after takes, right? Or I could even take on f3 first. But let's say we take here. And then I thought, what am I supposed to do? What if rook a6 just happens, right? Then what do I do? And I didn't know, so that's why I thought knight taking the pawn was just too greedy. So I went with b5. I said, you know what? I want to close it, have to close it. Bishop d4. Now, here I thought, okay, our chess club member cannot play a6 because I get to take this right away. So that was a good thing. Bishop d4, and I said, you know what? Let's close it down. Let's close it down all the way. I hate what's going on. And our chess club member played bishop b6. I thought, you know what? If you really want to open it, then go ahead, because it's not a bad decision. Knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, rook a5, gearing up for the a file, perfectly fine. King b7, rook a1, rook a. Now knight d4 came. Here's where the error was, but it wasn't very obvious, right? So the next move I played bishop takes b4. It's not obvious, right? First of all, you think, oh, why not just take the bishop? And then you realize this knight is hanging, right? Because this pawn plays such a big role. Protects the knight, protects the pawn. This pawn does some guarding to the rook. But once that's all disrupted, right? C takes b4, queen takes d4. Now black's in control. And after queen a2, I want to show you a variation I was calculating. Rook takes h2. And here I thought, does it work? Does it work? I don't know. Rook takes b5, right? Because I want to show you what I mean. After rook takes h2, this was my intention. King takes h2, rook h8, king g3, queen f4 check, king g2, queen takes pawn check, king f1, and rook h1 checkmate. So that was what my intention was by taking the knight. However, white has this move, rook takes b5. And I thought, is there a draw for white? Is there a win for black? So I thought, okay, why not? Let's try a few moves. King c6, right? We realize that this is still not an option because of check. So another check is delivered. Check. King d7, queen a4, right? Another check. And now you think, king, I thought about king e7, rook c7 check, king f8, rook takes f7, king takes f7, queen d7. And I thought, okay, this is a draw. Because after king g8, check, king f8, check, and then you just check a Ruski everywhere, right? So obviously I didn't find a win there. And then we looked back. Rook c5, king d7, queen a4, king d8 now, queen a5, king e7, rook c7, king f8. And then I thought, okay, rook takes f7, king takes, queen c7. And now, I don't know why, but now I just realized that black can escape all the checks. I don't know why I didn't realize it. I think I was calculating king e8 for some reason. But okay. Well, apparently this worked. So let's take, for example, another variation. Right, I was calculating king c8, rook c5, king d8, queen a5, king e7, rook c7, king f8. Aha, and I was calculating king takes h2. What's going on? Well, after queen takes f2, king h1, I saw this move, king g7. Tuck my king around, get the rook over here, win the game. Now, let's look at a previous, I don't remember where it was. But after queen a4, I think I was calculating king d8. And I thought, what happens if just king takes h2, right? Queen takes f2, king h1, queen h4, king g2, queen takes g4, king h2, and knight takes e5 wins the game, but completely complex. So I just, I was like, okay, that rook takes h2 probably doesn't work. I don't know why I miscalculated. Went queen b6, went back. I decided, you know what? Let's go attack this rook. So queen f3, knight c6, queen f7, queen c7. I was happy to get a trade here. Do you know why? It's because I have this pawn. Take, 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 take. Knight takes. Rook a5, king b6, rook a8, c3, rook c8. Was planning to, but let's tuck it in. And after rook a8, knight takes e5, rook a1, rook takes h2, king takes. That was just for fun. And now after knight d3, I can secure my passer. So that was the game. There was a lot to take in from the game, especially near the end. The attacking part was extremely dangerous for me. Queen a2 could have been a really interesting game. But overall, hopefully, through this complex game, you learned that it's not an easy game. Even for me, I can make mistakes. And so hopefully you did learn something from this. So keep watching and feel free to like, comment, or subscribe.